Hey y'all, what's going on today? It's Tuesday. Got a little bit of a training episode for you guys today. Sorry if you're expecting something that's we're working with barbells and gymnastics and all kinds of crazy stuff. We're going to discuss a topic that I don't think gets discussed enough, and it is the Concept 2 rower. All right, so for those out there, gang, we will eventually get into those kind of things, but today I want to really discuss this because there's a common question that we get a lot that comes up when we're talking about the rower. And if you've ever been into any sort of competition setting or anything like that, there's a big commonality you see that happens with the row machine. So if you're an athlete if there's a row that comes up and all of a sudden you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach of like, oh no, I'm going to get crushed on this thing, I hate the row machine, this is meant to help you guys out there, okay? So first off, understanding the row machine can pay huge dividends, okay? Understanding how the machine works and using it to our advantage can all of a sudden set it up to being not so much of an advantage to all of a sudden utilizing it as an advantage in the workouts, okay? So one of the questions we often get is, first off, what is this thing on the side? What level should I set it at? The other part that we see oftentimes in a competition setting, in workouts and stuff like that, is if we're doing like a 500-meter piece for time, or we're doing like, say, 50 calories for time, we often see athletes all of a sudden crank this thing all the way up with the mindset of thinking like, well, I'm applying it up to 10, so in turn it's going to be applying more resistance, so I'm going to be burning more calories. And oftentimes that can actually do the opposite, or have the opposite effect. So we're going to take a couple episodes to discuss this, you guys, kind of hopefully help, for one, answer the questions that we get over and over and over, so we can refer people to these videos. But at the same time on this, you guys, help you guys kind of think about what is best for you when it comes to this machine. Okay, so first we're going to discuss what is the damper. Okay, what actually this thing on the side of the rowing machine, what it does. All right, so depending on the model you have, the Concept 2 rower, each one's going to be a little bit different, but the concept is all the same. Okay, so the Concept 2 rower on this piece of machinery, gang, is going to have the damper is going to be on the side, and it's basically goes from a level 1 up to a level 10. Now what we often hear on that, you guys, is well, that's resistance level. That's going to set it up. That's going to help me get to a certain calorie count faster. And so what happens on this, you guys, the damper setting, what it is the housing here, it's a fan cage. Okay, so what that does, you guys, is inside the fan cage, there's a flywheel that spins every time you go through your stroke. So when you're pushing really, really fast, that flywheel is spinning really, really hard and really, really fast. And so what you're feeling, you guys, is when you go through your stroke, the resistance is actually air that you're moving and displacing through that. Okay, so now how we control the air is by the damper setting. Okay, so the damper setting controls the amount of airflow that goes into the fan cage that's going to be moved every time we go through our stroke and every time that flywheel spins. Okay, so why that's important to know, you guys, is because everyone's efficiency is going to be a little bit different. Okay, your own efficiency is going to really determine how fast you get work done. Okay, so I really want to put that out there. All right, so the first part of this, you guys, is the flywheel, or I'm sorry, the damper setting. Basically, from about a level 1 to 4, you're getting the housing in the fan cage is basically closed off. Okay, so if there's not a lot of air that's allowing to go into the fan cage, so when you're going through that stroke, it's going to feel like there's not much on it and you're not moving a lot of air through there. Okay, but now once you get into like 5 through 10, all of a sudden the fan cage becomes a little bit more open, more air gets forced into the cage, and then as you're going through your stroke, you're feeling that resistance as you're going through your stroke. So think of this in terms of if you were on a pond or a lake and you were in a boat. Okay, so level 1 through 4, think of it, you're in a sleek, smooth racing boat. You're on a pond that has no wakes on it. It's as smooth as glass, and each time you go through your stroke, it feels smooth and everything else. But what you have to do in order to keep pace with that is you have to go a little bit faster in order to keep the boat maintaining the speed that it's at. All right. Now, when we get into like level damper settings of 5 through 10, now all of a sudden that boat that's sleek and fast may become a little bit more box shaped, look a little bit more like an old Viking ship or something like that, and it's all of a sudden on a little bit choppier lake, maybe out in the ocean, and we're really having to dig in every time we go through our stroke. So in turn, it's going to be a little bit slower, and it's going to feel like there's a little bit more resistance on that. Okay, so hopefully that kind of paints a picture in your head of kind of how those two, the damper settings will affect that. Okay, it will affect the feel. All right, so we can talk about this in much greater depth or length on this, you guys. I'm going to try not to set these things out there for like a 20-minute video on this, but that's what we're going to discuss just for today. Okay, we're just going to discuss damper setting, you guys, isn't necessarily going to set up the resistance of the machine. It's just going to set up how much air is being displaced and how much air you're pushing through. Okay, so that's going to just affect how the flywheel is going to feel throughout the strokes on that. All right, so that's what we got for you guys today, is starting to understand the row machine. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow, you guys. So hopefully you all have a good day. Let's keep this knowledge train rolling. Let's get fitter. Let's get better. Achieve all those goals we got going on. Let's get it done, gang. Later.